Oh, welcome to another episode of Amsterdam Talk Season 2, Episode 11. If you tuned in last week, you saw the whole horror thing last week. That was great time doing that last week. But today, I went down to the home of the champions, the MLB champions, Atlanta Braves, and I'm bringing to the show tonight a journey to the throne. How y'all fellas doing?
Yeah, we good. I'm good.
We're good, man. We're good.
Okay,
How
so
you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. Just chilling. Just
Okay.
36 degrees. I'm like, I don't know where this came from, but
Oh man,
Right.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, we in Maryland.
It-
So
it's too early for
um,
that.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Wow.
don't know what's going on. That's just the signs of a crazy winter that's getting ready to happen.
Right. Right.
But for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Uh, you- Ulysses, you want to start first? Or go
Uh,
for
yeah. Well, individually, Ulysses Brown, um, born in New York, raised in down here in Atlanta. Grew up here most of my life, so this is my home. Married with three kids. Um, working corporate America, but then also I help my wife. She has a practice, Precious Mind Counseling and Consultant. I kind of do some of the business management aspect of it behind the scenes. I work with my church. I work at Ministry of Christian Education, teaching the class First Principles. That's at Word of Faith Cathedral here underneath Bishop Bronner.
Okay.
I work with my brothers here on this podcast, Journey to a Throne,
right.
where we just basically discuss and talk issues that we deal with as men, and specifically as Black men,
Right.
from relationships to just dealing with society. And
Right.
so that's pretty much my story, and I'll let Rod kind of tell his and cover anything else I may have missed.
Okay. Okay. Well, again, I'm Rod Maxwell. I'm originally from Augusta, Georgia. I've been in Atlanta for exactly 11 years. Um, I'm in corporate America as well. I've also do a lot of mentoring with younger men, older men, in ministry as well. Like the brothers say, doing Bible studies and everything. So, got a ministry called Seed Time and Harvest Ministries down here in Atlanta.
Okay.
Also, man, just a host of Journey to the Throne. And the brother, he briefly touched on it of how us men get together and talk about issues that we go through as being Black men, and issues of what we didn't get from our fathers and our uncles as we was growing up, just the men in our society and our community. And so we learned it the hard way. And so by
Okay.
learning the hard way, we feel that it's only right that we give it to someone so they can avoid going the hard way and bumping their heads. And um, that's what brought us to the term, a journey to the throne. And again, we like to thank you for inviting us out here on the show. So we excited, man.
Oh
Excited.
well, yeah, it's definitely gonna have y'all brothers come on because when she told me, she was like, we're bringing on some brothers from Journey to the Throne, basically, the ups and downs, successes and failures of you guys getting to the pinnacle of what you wanted to be as far as becoming a king. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be pretty good, dope. This is gonna be interesting right here. To see brothers that actually open up and talk about their trials and tribulations of what had
Right.
happened. Everything ain't successful.
Right.
Things happen.
Right. Right.
So I guess we should get in straight into that. On your way to the throne, like what was some of y'all, failures, big failures that y'all had on your way to the throne?
Phew. Huh.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay. You want to go first, or you want me to go first on that one, brother?
I'll let you go first this time, Rod.
Okay. So I just mentioned one of our failures, man. I think one of them is just not knowing my purpose as a man
Mm.
right here on this earth. I've you can get. I know I did get caught up with what society is feeding me of who I am or who I need to be. One minute I'm a rapper when I was younger. One minute I'm a break dancer. One minute I began to be a thug. I began to be a player. I began to be everything society brought forth. I began to be that, and really believe that that was me. And not having someone sit me down and show me who I really am during those times. And that was one of my failures right there, man, which got me trying to catch. I want to say the word catch up because you'll never catch up, but I'm from being behind and getting myself established. So I wouldn't have had to go through the things I had to go through if I would have, understood who I am and my purpose is when I was younger. Those now that's one of my failures right there. I was everything that society had put out there, you know.
Okay. So, I mean, when you were saying that before you get to you, Ulysses, so you saying everything society put out there for you, like father, uncle, anybody around, like male figure, like to to pull you in line.
Well, I didn't have them. They weren't instrumental in my life. I don't know what happened, but they had a life of their own, or some of them out of town, and they just wasn't around like that to share that. And the ones that I did see, that was just what society wanted us to see. I had
Okay.
uncles that was hustling. I had uncles that I had uncles that were pimping. I had uncles that was involved in a lot of things, man. And I didn't get to see uh a brother in Christ, a father figure, or things like that. And if I did, it was like a bad example. I see like messing around on their wives and things like that. So no, man, I learned what I became. I learned from what I watched on TV and what I listened to through music, and I saw out there in the community. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
you know,
What about you, brother Ulysses?
Yeah, I think for me, I grew up in a single family home with just me and my brother and my mother. Even though my dad was still in my life, he wasn't in the household. And I think that manifested when I kind of became an adult and got married, that I didn't have modeled in front of me in the household is what a husband is supposed to be and what a husband does. Kind of like what Rod has said. I kind of gleaned, some of that information from some of my other uncles or from
right,
TV, and I just didn't know that there's some nuances of father as far as being a husband that I just didn't execute effectively. And then my first marriage, ended in divorce. And so I think, one of my biggest mistakes is just not being able to understand what my role as a husband was and is until I in my second marriage. And I think I had to grow as a husband, as a man, to understand what those responsibilities are and make sure that I model myself after those examples that's going to yield the fruit that I want to see in my life. And so I think kind of what me and Rob both experienced is that there are plenty of models out there. It's plenty
right,
of things that a lot of things that we see as examples, but it's choosing the right thing. And so I think people are going to be what's around them, and people are
right,
going to model what is in front of them. And oftentimes when we grow up, we don't have the wisdom and discernment to choose the right models. We just we like what we see, and that's what we're going to be. And oftentimes it may not be exactly what's going to be productive for society. And
right,
so it's very key that we model what we want our children, our young men to be, and what our young ladies should seek in a man. So that's kind of what I've learned from my mistakes, is making sure that I end up being the man that I want the younger generation to reflect and model.
right, right,
Okay.
right,
So that is pretty big because first and foremost, we are in America, whereas though this people of color are not supposed to win. Is like a magic trick when you do win. If you're especially if you're not an athlete, a celebrity, or some type of performer, and you just a regular like us, just a regular guy that just go to work
right,
every day. They
right,
people like, what type of magic trick did you do to be this type of successful? So, like you said earlier, Rod, with with the status quo, what the society want us to be, it's either you got to be a rapper. They want you to do this. They want you to have type of jump shots. They want you to show crack, being a penal system and things like that.
right.
So, how do you think we can sway, men away from that, just the status quo and go in the opposite direction?
Wow, well, personally, I think first of all, what we're doing tonight, we're actually, like you said, the average dudes, because really we're not average, man. We're the model of what we want our younger men to follow after, and I think we're hidden a lot of times.
Hmm.
We're not out there, and when we're not out there, then guess what's out there? Like if you turn on social media tonight, you got everything negative going on, but when something like this is what you've done, invited us on. This is what they have a model to look like. They don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. Me and the brothers that I kick it with, the brothers I hang out with, man, we don't look like the average dudes as our age, and it's because I think we take care of ourselves and we keep up with fashion, and that's what the
Mhm.
younger people look towards. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that, and not to knock anyone, but I don't want to be that OG that look like he'd have been through too much and they don't want to listen to. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Right,
right.
right,
I
right,
don't want to be unk. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I want to just be unk. I want to be the bigger brother, the older brother that they can talk to and they can relate to, and they can see that we're successful. And we may not be on the bigger level like the Jay-Z level or anything, but we successful at what we at on our throne that God has given us. And I think that's what we need to be doing. That's the example we need to set forth. That we can be prevalent right there where we at in our community, right there on social media, and be an example, man. That's very important.
Yeah, yeah, and it's also important to we have to be real. This game is rigged. For black
Mhm.
men.
Right,
We don't have the same luxuries as some of our other counterparts. Especially, we don't have the white privilege that a lot of the white
Mhm.
men kind of enjoy. Even the Asian and Hispanics. Some oftentimes have it better than us Indian and other ethnic groups. But
right,
we have to understand what how the game is laid out. With that being said, what Rod said, we still have to make ourselves available to those younger generations so they can see that the only successful path isn't just, being an athlete or
right,
just being a rapper.
right,
We can be successful being businessmen.
right,
And as long as, like, I go back to what I said, you have to be able to model that in front of young people. I wouldn't be able to think that I can be in the financial sector if I didn't have somebody in my church when I was a teenager show me that you can be an accountant or you can be a finance person working in corporate America for a Fortune 500 company.
right,
Before then I never knew that. I just knew that only white people and you have to go to Ivy League school. But no, if I saw that example, he took me underneath his wing, and I was able to kind of see that okay, I can become that. But that's what we have to do, and then we have to be real with our young man and young woman. Everybody's not going to be a Jay-Z. Everybody's not going to be Michael Jordan,
right,
LeBron James. Some of us is going to have regular lives, and we can be successful. And sit on the throne of our lives as the king of
Mhm.
our lives if
right,
we accept that and
right,
understand the game.
right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I like that, bro. When you said that, everybody's not going to be those type of names out there that everyone looks to. And if we don't, again, Rod, if we don't show them that type of life that, what you're doing right now with the podcast, what we're doing with the podcast, if we don't show them that, hey, we're successful and content right here what we have going on. Of course, we want to continue to strive for success, but we are successful. You know what I mean? We're not locked up. We're not dead. We're not out of our mind. Or sleeping up under a bridge or anything. So we are successful black men, and I think when we stay hidden, we the only success they see is like you say, the Jay-Z's and the LeBron James and the Michael Jordans, which all the time, a lot of us are not going to reach that status of
Nah.
playing basketball or playing or music. We have,
Mhm.
man, down here in Atlanta, every person you meet in Atlanta, they're a rapper.
That's right.
They're a rapper. Everyone on a rapper. But you never heard of them. You don't see them with videos. You don't. And sometimes, I'm sorry, something now that social media out, they have the little videos now, and it make them feel like they popular and famous. But man, sometimes, that's only a fantasy until they
Hmm.
wake up and realize, oh, I got these other gifts that I've wasted and I need to put forth. And watching podcasts like this and watching podcasts like ours, they begin to see their other talents where they can put forth and provide for their families and step out and be businessmen and step out and just be part of a business. So I think that's what we need to do, man. Is just put a light on the average successful black man.
Yep.
Yeah,
And everybody has it. Let me throw this out there real quick. Everybody has
yeah.
a spirit of influence. So we may not have the spirit of influence of a Jay-Z or that far reach of a LeBron James, but each one of us have an influence.
Right.
And we have, we recognize that our spirit may not be humongous. It may be, pretty big to where we can impact people around us. And once we accept that, we can live productive, successful lives in that sphere of influence.
Right.
Which is true, because it's all about representation. That's what it's about. Like you said, you never knew that black men, people of color, actually did accounting and finance and all that, because that's well hidden in the back. But now you're in there, and that brothers are in there. So it's like all about representation. As far as like we bringing up the Jordans, the LeBrons, the Jay-Z's, but why can't I get a Colin Powell? Why can't I get a Barack? Why can't I get, somebody like that?
Right.
Because all it takes is one knee to be blown out, and it's
Yeah.
over with.
And it's over with.
And as far as music go, basically, you one bad song away from being out of the game.
Right. Right.
One bad song. And from where y'all from, as far as the music wise in Atlanta, the one thing I respect about Atlanta artists all will help each other.
Right. Right.
You know,
They're gonna do that. That's right.
we don't have that up here in the north. Like, you could live next door, we could be cool, and it's like, nah, I ain't gonna ask him to do no song with me. But in Atlanta, it's like everybody like, listen, I'll do one with you, you do one with me.
Right.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah, they network. There's a big network down here in Atlanta now.
But that's the thing. You have to, oh, you talking about, oh, like DOC, yes, drunk driving, and he destroyed his career.
Yeah.
Even what happened to the young brother, 22 years old, Henry Ruggs, this morning. He crashed and killed somebody 156 miles an hour in Las Vegas in a residential zone and killed somebody.
Oh man.
The Raiders cut him, and basically the prosecutor said, hey, 2 to 20 years. We want the max on him though.
Yeah, I read on that.
So it's like, all right, and not to change subject, but just to think about a young brother that's 22 at that age, and with a lot of money, you're not thinking clearly. It's whereas though you were intoxicated, whereas though you want to show off your ride, but where you could think about, let me call this ride share and spend this $40 or $50 to wherever I need to go at, and I can come back and get this car in the morning.
Right. No, we don't think like that. You want to drive your car, you don't feel drunk or anything. Right. You don't consider yourself being drunk or anything. I understand.
I mean, we've all did some things like, I mean, I've known personally myself, I woke up some mornings like, how the hell I get home?
Right. Exactly. Been there.
Yeah. Got home on a wing and a prayer. I got home. So, but as a 22-year-old black athlete with the type of car, you already have a microscope on you because you're a black man. Now you're an athlete, a professional athlete. The microscope is even on you extra harder. So it's like, why couldn't I call somebody to say, just come pick me up, man? I'm drunk. Now I got to deal with all of this now. And I lost my God-given talent over just maybe 4 to 5 hours of fun.
Right.
And this is where you come through. You have to ask, like, where's the older guy, the OGs, the veterans on the team that give me the advice, like, yo, leave your car. No, you shouldn't be driving, man.
Right. I was just gonna say that. Where the people that's around it, So
yeah.
That's very key, because we're not going to always. It's about accountability. We talked about that on our podcast, having those around us who can hold us accountable. Right. And sometimes when you get to that level of success, based on your talent or what have you, sometimes we can kind of exclude those people who can hold us accountable. And I don't know that young man particularly or who was in his circle, but somebody should have been in his ear to kind of pull him aside, to kind of sometimes we can be inebriated to where we don't have that discernment or that rationality to make justice right decisions. So yeah, it's just unfortunate that happened to the young brother.
But like you said, accountability, that's what happened. But sometimes in our circle, we might roll with too many yes men and just like, all right, he got it. But now you gotta, if I'm wrong and you my brother, or I rock with you like that, you can pull me aside and say, yo, that ain't right. Need to go ahead and leave that situation alone or do this or do that. But you got too many, people out here to just say, he'll be all right. He can do what he want to do. But sometimes you might be already having that in the back of your mind, like, maybe I shouldn't do this. But I just need one person just to say,
don't do it. Right.
Don't do it. Right. And a lot of mistakes happen that way. So some things are, we sometimes look at the short term instead of the long term.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And however that we look at it as, like, young kids, as you were saying earlier, they want to sell drugs. They're looking for the fast money. But at the end of the day, fast money ends up long term in a penal system or in the grave.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
Long term money keeps your freedom, and you're not looking over your shoulder for the police or
Or
enemies.
right. Or the enemies. Right.
Yep. And that's just funny you say that long term and short term, because I always try to explain things to my son. Play the long game. Try to think things through. Don't try to make these rash, quick decisions thinking you're going to have some, overnight success. Or it can happen now, but you have to plan what if it doesn't happen. You
Right.
know, part of, like, Raj, his ministry is, seed time and harvest. That's how it works. That's a God
Hmm.
principle. You plant the seed. There's going to be time. It seems like
Right.
nothing is happening, but you're going to get a harvest. That's just the way the principle works.
Right. Right.
So you just got to put in that work and be patient and allow it to come to fruition.
And
Right.
that's the key word, what you just said, brother Ulysses. Work.
Work.
Nobody really wants to put in the work, because if you put in the work is going to take care of you.
Hmm.
Right.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean,
And
we'll put in work in any other things that's going to destroy us in the short term.
Right.
So yeah, so I think, like I said, the examples of someone putting in work the long term for the long term, I think then we'll be more influential to others when they can see these things. When they can see that, you have the wife, you have the car, you have the home, you have the business, you have just a presence about yourself where you're, something that they want. You got an aura around you that's something they want, what you got. That's what influences people, man. And I
hmm
think, that's what we have to bring to the table. You
yep.
know,
Yeah.
And we had to bring realistic, expectations,
right?
because I think it was Frederick Douglass that said that there is no progress without a struggle.
Without a
You're going
struggle.
to struggle, and that's just part of the process, and we have to accept it. Just like work. Work ain't going to be easy. Sometimes work is hard. Sometimes you're going to have to grind that thing out for a couple of years before you see anything. And people may be looking at you saying that what you're doing ain't worth it, but you have to know what your vision is, and you have to make sure that you put that work in so that it can come to fruition.
Right, right.
Right. Right. My mother used to always tell me, if it come easy, it ain't worth it.
That's
That's
with
true.
everything. That's with everything too. You know.
Right. So I take that to the grave. If it's too easy, it ain't worth it.
Right.
But just I mean, that's just the one thing, like we was talking about accountability. That's just one thing. I think in this generation today, when you hold them accountable, they consider that you're hating on them. Nah, I'm not hating on you. You just got to be accountable for what you do.
We taught
Hmm.
that.
Nobody wants to take the blame.
We taught that though. I mean, we don't know what hating really means. We take that word and we use it for everything that we get offended by. You know,
Right.
we can say our wives hating on us,
Hmm.
because you're mad. You can say your brother hating on you because you're mad. I mean, and the only thing they're doing is telling you that you you know you smell. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you smell like coming back playing ball. You go to the gym and you play ball. You come back and your wife say, "Ooh, baby, you smell." You get offended. Why would you get offended when someone's helping you out? And I'm giving that example to show
Right.
how if I come to you, being accountability, if I'm coming to you about something, take a notice of what I'm talking about. If I'm saying, hey man, that guy right there, or these people really don't mean no good. They just they didn't come pick you up for work, and they didn't even call, and you was calling them, they didn't answer everything. Take notice of that. Don't say he hating on me and don't want me to be around them. No, don't
Right.
don't don't go like that. Say, hey, I did call them numerous of times and it went straight to voicemail. They didn't respond back to texts or anything, and I miss a work day. So now I need to start catching an Uber, like my man said, and don't, like Max said, and don't depend on them totally, like Rob been trying to tell me. And like I said again, we use the word hating on anything that we get offended of.
That,
Hmm.
and when somebody and another thing is when people disagree with you. Like, we can't disagree no more. I got younger brothers, and when I'm talking to them, I disagree with what they say. They like, yo, why you hating on me? I'm like, yo, I just don't agree with you.
Right.
Mhm.
Like, if
Right.
if everybody was the same, this world would be a dull place. Like
Mhm.
to agree or disagree.
Right.
I don't agree with everything everybody say, and some of the shit I say I don't even agree with.
Mhm.
But it
Mhm.
sounds good at the time.
It sounds good. You have to go back and reevaluate.
Yeah, because this is like I'll say it, then I'll leave and be like, damn, that, I don't even believe in that.
Yeah, but some people just have, we said the word offense, and sometimes we can have real thin skin and be real sensitive. And I
Mhm.
think part of that journey to the throne and sitting on the throne, you got to develop some thick skin,
Right.
and you
Right.
can't be so fickle that what somebody says or what somebody don't say, or they don't agree with you. If you're the king of your kingdom, everybody ain't going to agree with you. You're not going to chop off everybody's head. You just know that your authority that you have in your realm, and
Right.
you walk on that and operate in that.
Right.
And it's all right to have somebody not agree with what you think or how you believe things should be. It's okay. I had to learn that.
Right. I think we all need to continue to walk. And I think as a people, we definitely need to learn that it's okay to disagree. It's
Yeah.
okay to have it's okay to have a conflict with another person, but it's how you handle the conflict. I think we definitely need to. I don't know. We need to have classes on it or teach. We like now we explaining it, but we definitely need that as a people, and it'll stop so much division,
Killing.
separation going on,
Hmm.
and violence
Yeah.
towards each other.
Right, right.
And
Because
right, like you said.
yeah, because this right now, conflict resolution, that is very
Mhm.
key, and I think that's something that's lacking in today's society, especially in our community, is not being able to resolve conflict without violence. I mean, it has to be a way that we can kind of have that opportunity. And I think it goes back to exposure. I have to kids learn how to resolve conflict based upon what they are shown in front of them.
Right,
I'm
Right.
teaching my youngest son how to get along with other kids when they don't agree on the toys and all that. And that can you can translate that up until when they become an adult, because if they can't resolve conflict the right way as a toddler, what do you think makes them going to be able to do it when they become an adult or a young man? They're going to try to resolve conflict the same way they've done it always, if no one intervenes and shows them a better way to do it.
right,
Yeah,
And it's
right,
missing
it's
today.
nothing in this world that I can't. Well, unless you like kill my moms or something like that. But there's nothing in this world that I can't sit down. You're a man, I'm a man, and we can't sit down and talk about it
right,
and figure out where you went wrong at or where I went wrong at, and squash it and go about our business. Is just too much. I mean, just the extreme of that. But like you said, conflict resolution, you learn that early as a child, because if I take your toys away and you can't figure it out, as a grown up, you still gonna probably act the same way.
Right.
right. Ooh, I said a lot, didn't
Right.
I?
Yeah, I mean, I just look at things, differently. Like, what's big in the news now. I almost got in trouble last 2 weeks ago with the show because I said something about the LGBTQ community, and it wasn't no slight against them. It was just like, basically, I just agree with Chappelle. I'm like, yo, you can say whatever you want to say about a black man in America, but if you hurt one of their feelings, it becomes an uproar.
Right,
Hmm.
And if anything, and I totally agree with him. As a black man, I'm jealous because it took y'all 20 years to get where y'all at, where I'm still fighting this war for 400.
right,
Hmm.
right, right.
Hmm.
Like, how did y'all get here so quickly?
right,
And we still not there, like you said.
we're still not there, right? I definitely agree. I definitely agree with Dave Chappelle concerning that as well, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Asian people got killed in Atlanta. They get a order.
Right,
We get picked off every day by police officers. There's still no order for black people
right, right,
Hmm.
because in the government, what it says in the law, if something becomes endangered, the government or they protect the endangered species. I ain't seen nobody protect no black man yet. You can
no,
protect all the whales, all the tigers, but you won't protect my people.
Well, the key thing is what they value. So,
but yeah, you're right. What they value is being endangered because um, it. to them we're a feared species. That's how I look
Mhm.
at it. We're not in to them. We're not in danger. That's where they want us to be. I see, but we're a feared species. Of what we can, of what we have accomplished, and what more we could accomplish. Without so much foot on our neck or knee on our neck.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And I think part of it is also our fault as a people. I think back in the 50s and 60s, I think we were more as a community more tight. And I
Community.
think, right now, with integration and everything, I think we just as a community, we don't usually come together, um, use our resources in such a way. I think I saw on the tagline there, somebody said the Asian community pulled their money together and made
Right.
that happen. And
Right.
I think we don't do that. We don't have that same type of cohesiveness at times. I mean, we'll go out there and march, we'll go out there and protest, but sometimes the most effective things, the most effective tool is money.
Right.
And
Right.
we got to be able to do that and put those key people in place in government to push those laws together and not just pacify us with certain proclamations and stuff like that and in days. No, we need the laws to protect us.
Now I'm gonna be honest. Now, it's not too many of us that want to, trust you with our money. You know, we would have
Right.
we'd have been ripped off a lot of times. But
Yeah,
we've
man.
been
You,
ripped
you
off.
told the
And
truth
see,
there.
those are the things that we're facing though as a community, right?
Right.
That we in poverty. That you're living from paycheck to paycheck, so you can't gamble with this paycheck to take a chance like that. So we got a lot up against us as a people, and it's no excuse. No excuse by far. I'm making no excuse for us. I'm just showing you what mentality that we have to fight against to do
Right.
those type of things, to reach those type of goals. That we got to trust one another with our funds. We have to be able to say, I'm gonna make a sacrifice and put forth and put this in the pot. That's what we have to do because they're gonna do it. They pretty much all on business owners. And I'm
Mhm.
not, just being honest. Pretty much business owners. A lot of them Asians in the community, they're business owners. So they doing okay to be able to just take a loss if somebody was gonna not put the money towards anything. And see, we think like that. We like that they didn't do nothing with the money last time. The church didn't. The church didn't put no money out there. They didn't. They they didn't build a school we asked for. So I'm not putting nothing this time. So we're
Hmm.
facing a lot of things, man, and we could be our worst enemy when it
Yeah.
comes to being a unit.
Yeah, but that goes back to, growing up. What we were told is growing up against our counterparts, grow up, get a decent job, pay your bills.
Yeah,
That's what we were told.
that's it.
Hmm.
That was it. Pay your bills. That's it. Our counterparts were told financial literacy, like you could do this, you put this here, you put that there, you can
Right,
make this come back. And it's 2021, and us as Black Americans, we just really learning about credit.
right,
Yeah. Yeah. But a lot of it, I'll be honest, is not our fault. Because if you go back into like World War II, when the African American soldiers they got the GI Bill as well as the white soldiers when they came back. But when they went to purchase houses, it was called redlining.
Right, Lana.
They only allow black people to buy houses in these dilapidated communities, in
communities.
communities that not the nicely newly built subdivisions
Right,
that the white people were able to buy into and they appreciate in value. They can take that equity and send their children off to Ivy League schools with the equity in the house because it appreciated in value. But
right,
yet and still, black communities didn't have that same opportunity to get that equity. And then, we don't get paid comparable to white. I think we pay like 75 cents to a dollar. So you got that, disparity. So when you extrapolate that all the way to now, and the fact that, you can't really have financial literacy if you don't have the means in order to take advantage of that. If you're just trying to live paycheck to paycheck, you just don't have those opportunities. So, I used to work for SunTrust and I used to work in wealth management. And I used to be amazed. I didn't even know this existed to where um, people from like, the early 1900s, back when Coca-Cola first came out, they bought the stock when it was like a dollar. And, now they got trust accounts. I never heard of that where the grandparents, they amassed wealth and they was able to put that wealth in a trust and it was able to pay for their kids and their grandkids college, give them down payments for houses, give them income continually because the trust has so much value now that they can live off the income and don't have to touch the principal. And that concept was just new to me. But see, that's something I wasn't exposed to. It's not to say that there were not black people who were able to do that, but not to the point where we see it in the white community or some of the other communities.
Right.
It's because of the opportunities and some of the things that were not presented to us because of systemic racism, such as redlining and all that in real estate, to where we could not, amass any type of wealth. So
Right. So yeah, we do have a force that's pressing against us with accomplishing these things. And that's basically what the brother's saying.
Yeah, I mean, but also too as us as a culture as well. We've all been like this. Sometimes you just don't want to give free game. You might just like, oh, I know this, but I'm just not going to tell him.
Right. But
And,
again,
and it happens a lot.
again, that's the
You're
culture.
right.
Again,
It
that
does
we call
happen.
as a people, as a culture. That's right.
Yeah, it's like,
I got mine. You get yours.
yeah, but if I know something, and it goes back to what Rod said. If I call you, listen, and say, listen, I need about $40 because we're gonna do this, and you gonna think of some time like, hold up, he ain't come through last time, so I ain't got it. So,
Right.
and that's just how it works. I mean, because all it takes is, in our culture, just not to pay that person back one time, and the bridge is burnt.
And they take it out on everybody.
Everybody get it.
Hey, you know what? I never thought about that, but you know how we talk about people being damaged for relationships?
Yep.
Man, that's being damaged right there. If somebody don't, that's a mental issue right there. If you've been someone that not paid you on incidents, or you went in and you got they got treated unfairly, or they cheated you out of it, then you begin to walk in life with not taking opportunities because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, man. Bro, learn something every night. Learn something every day.
Yeah, all it takes to undo that one unjust, it takes 20 positive, basically accounted to undo that one
That
unjust.
is the truth.
You could do 20 good deeds and that 21 be bad. Oh no, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
You'll remember that. So that's
Right.
how it is.
Right.
You'll remember that. And like you said, it's like kind of like relationships. One girl do this, then the next girl do that. You be like, hold on. Nah, I'm not going through this no more.
Right.
And that's a part of it, so it's a lot of hidden traumas behind it.
Right.
We got to sit down and one thing I always say, I have sisters and things of that nature. I say, yo, if a man vent to you, you something special to him.
Right.
'Cause
Listen.
we just ain't gonna open up to anybody.
Right.
Is how you are? Yeah, I'm all right. Meanwhile, you hurting inside, and you just need to talk to somebody.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's something powerful that you said. We talked about this, is that when you're in a true healthy relationship, you create those opportunities for you to be vulnerable. And women, you can't not cherish that experience by then, once he's vulnerable in front of you, then using what he says and then throwing it back at him, because that's going to damage that whole relationship to the point where he's not going to want to be vulnerable in front of you, because you're using that, you weaponizing his vulnerability against him.
Right.
So, but relationships, in order for it to be healthy, you got to have those experiences of vulnerability
Right.
to be able to express yourself on both sides, women and men.
Right. Right. Definitely.
yeah. So I see y'all got on Thursday, y'all got the masculinization of the men.
Right.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I guess we should just give them a preview because I'm gonna be watching tomorrow.
Yeah, we got tomorrow at 9:30 right here on Facebook Live on a journey to the throne. You can catch us, man. We're gonna be going in on a topic that I think a lot of people run from, a lot of people don't want to speak on, and that's the purpose of this podcast that we put together, is to be able to talk to first our men, because that's who it's geared to. However, though, our audience is predominantly lady female viewers as well. But just talking about demasculizing our men, we have issues like the music. For one, the music. I mean, man, there's a lot of things I've been studying up on, and I've learned over the years, man, that even behind closed doors, they have sat down and put a blueprint together, just like they did with the crack epidemic, just like they did out there in Watts, when they sit down, they put a blueprint together, and they say this is what we're going to give them to destroy them, right? And so what we do is we don't see this, we don't know that, we're not awoke knowing that a system is out there for us like that. As far as like even, I mean, not just that with the music, but also with the dressing now, man. We talking about men wearing dresses out there, talking about this is the heterosexual way to wear, you know, the dress code now. You know, I mean, like I don't have a problem with if a person is saying that they're gay, then you know I can discern and say, hey, to my son, that person is gay right there. Okay, you acknowledge you out of the closet, you're doing your thing. Then I don't have no issue with you because you got to deal with that. But when you're saying you're a man and this is what we wear, then now my son and my nephews can get confused now because now they believe they're men. So as being a man, I can wear a dress now. I can paint my fingernails. I can do these things now. And see, this is what demasculizing our men. These celebrities that they put out there on the forefront. The musicians, the music, the television, social media. Man, man, we got so much to talk about on that topic there. I mean, you get me stirred up already right now about it.
And just the one key thing is about identity.
Right.
You know, you can demasculize or you can change anything by confusing the identity of what it's supposed to be, what its true identity is. And I think there is a, like Rod said, you know, there's a whole objective to destroy the black man.
Right. Whole object. It's a plan. It's sat down and strategized. I mean, when people went to war, and that's why we call it a journey to the throne. Because when we talk, we coming from perspective. I grew up on nothing but history about wars, about kings and nations fighting and warring. So I love those type of moves. I love reading up on history concerning those things. And when you took out a king, when you conquered a nation, you embarrass the king. You take out the king. You destroy all the men in the city. And you got total dominance over the women, and it's your land now. You can establish what you want to do in the land. So this has always been a plot of an enemy when they're going against a nation. So I see the system that's behind closed doors again. That has they don't just wake up and make these things up. These things are strategized behind closed doors of how we're going to do these things. It's been done since we came to America. Okay, it's been done since we came to America over here in America. But it's also been done in other countries on a black man. So, you know, I'm stirred. Like you hear me right now, I'm stirred up on it, man. So,
I mean, I totally get it. You know, you know, I mean, like you said, there's a blueprint behind it because the people that they put in front of these cameras, we idolize them. I mean, kids idolize them. They're like, oh, well, he got this on. He got, like you said, your son and your nephew. Like, how am I to be able to explain like this dress? Like, you know, is a difference. Like you're masculine, he's from that culture, so it's like he's gay, but I need to be able to explain to him like this is not what men do. He's a man, but he's not a straight man.
Right. See, you could do that with somebody that's openly saying that they're gay. You see what I'm saying? Right. You can do that, and like I say, that's their place. That's the things they have to deal with in life. But when you're saying you're a man like I am, but you're wearing a dress. Now the confusion come in, like you used to say that now it's confusion on the mind, and now the identity is being misconstrued right before their eyes, and so now they don't know what actually is a man, you know, and what defines a man, and those are the things that we're dealing with right here.
Because last time I checked, ain't none of us got no Scottish background.
Right. And that's their excuse. Well, they wore it in the Scottish wore it. I mean,
that's their culture. I don't know nothing. I don't. That's their culture.
Are you Scottish, brother? That's what I'm asking. Like, no, I'm not. Okay, then. All right.
I mean, but you know what though? That's like, you know what they trying to do for the black man in America. They trying to bring that whole European metrosexual
unisex. Right. You know.
It's like you said, when you come for a country, you take out their king.
Right.
And once the king is taken out, you own that country.
Right.
So, you know, the strategy, the blueprint, they put it, they say, okay, who's their kings in their culture? Let's put them up and make them dress that way.
Right.
And now we can break down their walls and get them to be like that.
Right.
So I guess I'm not sure who would they put out there for us, but the ones that most people idolize, look at, they haven't done that now. I mean, I believe Kanye's still just kind of screwed up since his mother passed away. So that's
Yeah.
just him. He's dealing with other traumas
Right, right,
Hmm.
with himself that he need to, get some help with. I mean, the
right. Because
brother,
I think he fights against the system. So, he tries to. I think, like you said, I think he's dealing with just that trauma right there. That's what's wrong with him. But these other celebrities and things that they putting out there in the forefront, man, I mean, come on, man. What make a man after after you 20, you're 25 years old now, 27 years old now, and you're a major league baseball player, you're a basketball player, you're a football player. Now you want to put on a dress. No one in your family ever seen you put on a dress or dress like this, but now you do it out the blue. It's not like, and you're still saying you're not gay now. So what's going on? So then you have to ask, how did he wake up and just say, I'm gonna do this? What happened? That's when you know it's an agenda behind all these things.
well, that's
Hmm.
what Brandon T. Jackson said. He didn't want to put that dress on, and they kicked him out of Hollywood.
They kicked him out of Hollywood,
Hmm.
right? I seen the interview. Right,
Yeah.
Right.
right. I
So,
mean,
I mean,
that's what goes on, man. He talks about these things, and that dress thing been I've been hearing that dress thing for years about wearing a dress. Even the days of Pop, when Pop was talking about the things that they wanted them to do to be successful, and it led to a lot of rebellion and them coming after him and coming after members of his family and other artists as well. So, man, you either gonna go with that system or you're gonna buck that system. That's how
Hmm.
they look at it. Like, if we decide that if you're a hot item right now, uh, we want you to do this. This is what we want you to do, and they do it, and they try to still keep it. They call it gangster still. That's what be making me laugh. It's still gangster. I'm
nah.
serious, man. I'm serious. I mean, I,
Hmm.
I got I got a son out there, man. I love him, and man, I thank God that he's getting through that, because he's from that. He's 23, so he's in that generation, and he's facing a lot of those same things that we're talking about. However, man, God's been able to just graciously guide him through that. Man, he's been through the one to listen to the Young Thug, and I have to talk to him about the little gay things Young Thug saying during the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? But he's a
Right.
gangster supposed to be. So I'm like, I got to tell him these things. The videos that the man was making was gay videos. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but he was saying he wasn't. You know what I mean? So that's what the
Right.
problem was right there. And it was bothering, and me and my son were wrestling with. He was like, I like the music though, Dad. I know he did, but I like the music. I was like, let me lay back. And he liked the music. Okay, let me get him, let time pass on. And he got past all that, man. And I thank God I thank God, man. That's all I'm saying on that is stuff.
Hmm.
Because there's a lot of men that get caught up in that whirlwind right there, man. And then you find them different, walking around here with contacts and long lashes and that long lashes and fingernails. I'm serious. I'm serious. With a pistol on them too. Now,
Yep.
with a
Con-
pistol on them, blowing what they say, blowing gas.
yeah. Confused identity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but you know what though? See, this is the thing. When we grew up, we didn't have this social media.
Right.
Social
Hmm.
media turns you to whatever. You
Mm.
get a couple likes, you become an influencer.
Right.
Everybody's on the internet just lying for no reason. You
Yes, they
know, it doesn't make any sense. So, and I always sit back and say, the celebrities we had of our times, if we had social media, the Dennis Rodmans, the Rick James, you know, them,
Prince.
them boys.
Prince.
Yeah. Like, I know they're glad that there was no camera because a lot of people would be locked up of the stuff they were doing. But and that's just the thing. Like when you get behind this camera, you can be whoever you want to be. Nobody knows you. You can become an internet thug. Um, you can 140 characters. You can say what you want to say. I'll never see you
Right.
bullying and things of that nature. But when I speak on the bullying, I'm like, we got to reach to these kids that like you said earlier, we got to have some tough skin
Right.
Hmm.
because I've been called a lot of things in my life, but it ain't never make me want to say, okay, I want to commit suicide. You
Right.
know, in this is different era. I feel like this generation is just a little weaker. Like I don't get it. Like, the principle's the same. The game never changed. Just the players did.
Right.
But you get behind this computer and you can say whatever you want to say, and it's just like people they run and they start crying. Like, no, I come from an earth. Say something. I say something about you. Get them back. Say something back.
Right. But see, here we go again. Back to what the show is going to be about tomorrow. The masculinized. So the laws say the way you discipline your child.
Yeah.
So now, from our community, my mother and my father disciplined me, man. That kind of like was, it created a toughness in me as well.
Right.
But now if I can only if I can only tell you go stand in the corner, or take your phone from you, I found, man, the things I've been seeing them do, they take a phone, they go to their grandmama house and their grandma buy them a phone just to be over there at the house when they come on the weekend. That's why they want to go over there every weekend. So those methods are not working. All it's doing is teaching our younger people to finesse. That's what they call it. To finesse each other, finesse the parents. So they're making them weak. They're not being held accountable. They're not receiving tough. They're not getting tough skin or learning how to be tough in certain areas and situations and be held. Just putting some on their thoughts to know, like, okay, your actions your action, for every action there's a reaction.
Right.
There's a consequence. They're not getting that now, and so like you say now, when they cry,
Mhm.
they're very emotional and all these things, and it come from us not being able. Well, not me, not I. We gonna, that every man, like I say, on your throne, you're gonna have to control. You're gonna have to be a king, regardless.
Mhm.
A king is gonna be. They're gonna come against a king. They're gonna talk down on a king. But if you're gonna have to be able to be held accountable for ruling whatever domain God has given you to rule. But it's people that fold on them thrones, man. And allow the government to dictate how they rule and how they teach and discipline their children. And next thing you know, your child so timid.
Yeah. Well,
Suicide.
I would put that a lot on the shoulders of the parents, because I think you have to
Right.
have the parenting skills. And even though some of the laws they put in place is because some parents were kind of going to the far extreme with the abuse and with the corporal punishment. And so I can understand how the government may come in place and try maybe take that method of discipline out of the household, out of the hands of the parents. But that there are other things that you can do that could be just as effective to toughen your kids, to make sure that they understand. I think that comes with pouring into your children, because if they understand the value comes from within and from what they get from their parents, whether or not they get that from outside externally don't really matter. And I think a lot
Right.
of kids are not raised to be that strong, to know
Right.
that who they are and their value doesn't come from what other people think about you.
Well, I
Right.
get what you're saying, but corporal punishment will make you think before you steal out that store.
Yeah.
It will make you think, like, do I really want these hands back on me again?
Right. And
It
that's
will
the
make
difference
you
between abuse. Now we're not
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
abuse.
definitely.
no, I get it. I know, yeah, it was not abuse.
Right. It
It was not
wasn't.
abuse because when you said we didn't have that, oh, I'm gonna call the police. All right, I beat the police ass too.
Right.
And
See,
you thinking
see,
like,
that's what stops them right now, because when they say that, the parents are in fear of going to jail. And that's what I
Mhm.
was saying about those laws they placed out now. Parents don't want to go to jail, man. I seen
right,
I seen a family member that she went to jail, and that ended her being strong in the household discipline and everything, because that was an experience that they didn't want to go back through ever again. So man,
right,
but again, like he said, it goes back to the parent, because if they coming at it, if they got those laws in place, then you have to find a way. Because I'm gonna still use my punishment. I'm still gonna get that belt when I need to get that belt. But just say I'm not gonna always be putting a belt every time. You're gonna have to do some teaching. You're gonna have to do
Right.
some talking to them and pouring in them, like the brother said.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
yeah, but to be afraid of the government laws and with your children is the result of what we're dealing with right now, I believe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not saying beat him for everything because everything is not that moment. It's teachable moments. That you have to have. Like, all right, you made this mistake. This how you could have went about it. Went from there. It ain't telling you go upstairs and get a belt, or Big Mama said go outside and get a switch and don't bring no small one back in here. So talking about HBCU raised Delta, but that's what I'm saying. You know, some things are teachable, and it's raising men. You know, princes to become kings.
Right.
We don't have to be a dictatorship all the time. Sometimes I need to sit down and talk to you and say,
Right.
listen, you're going to be in this situation one day with your own kingdom. And this is how you might have to go about it. But sometimes I got to let you go out there and fail. And you come back and tell me the
Right.
lesson.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Right. Yeah, you got to have I think it's a belt. A belt is not a well. A lot of the old school
The
didn't have
belt is the
relationships.
equalizer. That's the
Right. Right.
equalizer.
Right. That's a tool. That's supposed to be a tool.
Right, a
That don't
tool,
supposed to
right,
be that doesn't supposed to be the relationship.
right,
You know what I mean?
exactly. That's my
I don't
point.
want to just know my daddy for just beating me. You know,
Right.
you know how your mother's the one that nurtured you, but she only call your daddy for to beat you. You know,
But that's why you grew up in I'm not saying you, but growing up in that era, I'm gonna tell your daddy. And you stopped doing what you was doing.
right, right. But see, that daddy got to be also not just known for, and I say this a lot to the ladies as well, that he got to also be known for other things too. He got to be also known to be able to help out with the homework or pick him up and take him out somewhere and talk to him about some failures or some things he did that he shouldn't have did without a belt. You know, so you know. I'm gonna leave it at that because our ladies can throw that out there about the dad always making him look like the bad guy to just only discipline. But you want to make sure your child know that dad not only just a discipline, he's also a one that you can talk to about your wrongs, and he can give you some advice on what you did, because most 9 times out of 10 dad did the same thing. You got his DNA, you got his genes, you know, and you might act just like your daddy, you know, so he can relate and tell you about it. Even the mother, your dad's mother can tell you that your daddy was like that too at a young age. You know, it takes a lot of talking, man, not just a belt, but the belt I do believe is needed.
Yeah, the belt plus the lesson. It has to be a lesson.
It has to be a lesson, right?
Yeah, the belt is the beginning end all.
Because you got some children that, man, a belt don't do nothing too.
Right.
Right. You got some children, a belt don't do anything too. So now you got to find out what to do now. Since unless you're just gonna be stuck on crazy and just think you're just gonna keep beating them and it's gonna work out for itself one day. Now you got to try to change up and find out how I'm gonna relate to this child. How I'm gonna get to this child.
Right.
Yeah, figure out the relationship. But no, I know before we get out of here in a little bit, definitely got to show the men. I mean, show our prince side of treat these princesses coming up. You know, that's another thing in our community. We gotta, show them the same respect that we would want somebody to give our mother and our grandmother or our sister or cousin.
Right.
Is speak to me on it.
Oh man, we talk about it all the time. It starts with us. We're hard on us. We're hard on the men because the weight is on the man. You know, it's been given to us, man. The family been given to us. Whether the wife or the women agree with it or not, we have to know our identity and our position of what we've been given, regardless. So when you know that, okay, so my example to a woman is going to be the way I deal with my wife is going to be the way my son's going to view it. He's not going to view what I'm saying out my mouth. He's going to view what he see.
Right.
He's going to view what he see. And so I think a lot, my son calls me a lot for advice, and I think he opens up and talks to me a lot, and I'm able to relate to the things he's dealing with or the things he's going through because, I have two sides of wisdom. Now I've got the side when I was living foolishly, right. And so I can understand what he's talking about. But I also got the side where I can give him advice from that foolishness that I was caught up in. And he's able to listen because he's able to hear daddy did some foolish stuff or daddy went through some foolish things, and now daddy telling me to handle it like this. So I think my example of how I treat my wife, I think that's gonna be, or how we treat even women in the store, man. When you open a door for women that you don't even know, that's speaking a lot to you, to the younger men that's following you as an example. It may not mean nothing to those that don't want to, but believe me, it got their eye. It got their eye. Whether he's a professing to be a goon or whatever, a player, whatever he's professing to be, a dog or whatever, he did notice what I've done to some people that I don't, some women I don't even know, or what I'm doing with my wife when I go into the store and come out of the store. So I think that's key, man.
That's the key thing, though. A woman should never touch a door when she's with a man. She should never touch a door.
And you know that kind of fits into what because I have a daughter, and so I demonstrate to her how she should be treated by a man. You know, I what a man is supposed to do, he's supposed to profess his love, he's supposed to protect, and he's supposed to provide. And so I do all of those things for her as an example, as Rob was saying. I model that for her so that if she engaged with any young man, he has to be able to live up to the standard that I have established with her as far as what she expects. And so that goes a long way with kind of showing our daughters, you know, they have to have a certain standard that they want to get as far as their engagement with men. And then, you know, as far as my son, I show him how he should be able to model and engage himself in front of women, how to treat women based on how I treat, you know, my wife, how I treat my mother, you know, how I treat my aunts, you know, so that's what I'm modeling in front of him. And I model the ideal man in front of her, my daughter. So, you know, it goes back to we have to show them what they should be looking for. If we don't have that in front of them, you know, they're going to just follow whatever path that their friends are going after, and that may not always be something that's going to allow them to be valued and cherished by the opposite sex.
Got you. I mean, the main thing is, like you said, you have a daughter, and I have friends that have daughters, and they always say, I don't want my daughter to be impressed by you, by him taking my daughter to Miami. No, I'm already instilling that in her already. Like, listen, daddy took me here, and you got to, you know, come with some more than just this.
Right.
You know, and you got it.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, we have to, and we just like we put ourselves, our sons up on game and all that kind of stuff, and kind of show them what we kind of went through and what we learned and mature. We have to give our daughters that same type of knowledge. You know, look, old dude, young buck here. You know, he may be acting like he like you, but these are things you need to look for to make sure that what he's doing is actually truly what how he feels, or not just trying to get into your pants. And so I think that's very key. We just can't just model, but we also have to give them the wisdom that comes along with it.
Right. And I'm big on, you know, words matching the action. Some people just can talk. You could talk them straight out their drawers and just say, all right, but the action don't match. You got to put the action with the word. So I think a young lady told me this probably maybe about 6 years ago, 6, 7 years ago. She said, I asked her, what did she like in a man? She said, if I tell you what I like in a man, you're going to become that to get where you're trying to get to, and then it's going to disappear. I said, you know what? That's a very good answer, because I'm just going to be me now. Either you like it or you don't like it. So I don't have an opportunity to pretend to be something that you looking for, and I'm not that. I'm not a wolf in sheep's clothing. So I think that's a beautiful answer. And ever since then, I've never answered that question again.
Yep. And they say that a shark can taste the blood in the water, and so if you're wounded or anything like that, you know you're going to be drawing those sharks and those wolves to you. And you know that's why I know you mentioned a couple of times that people have to deal with their trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and you know we have to make sure that you know we do cause trauma in our children's lives, or we do recognize they experience some type of trauma. We got to be able to get them the resources they need in order to recover from that. And oftentimes, you know, I'm a Christian man. It's not all about this, praying and going to church and having the pastor pray over you. Sometimes you have to get professional help to deal with extreme trauma, because that's going to allow you to be able to put those tools in place, allow you to get to that place where you're healed.
Right. And it's okay. And it's okay to go
Yeah,
to therapy.
absolutely.
It's called wisdom. Use wisdom. That's what it's called. Getting wisdom.
Okay.
Wisdom is medicine.
Therapy.
Wisdom is medicine, it says. So,
Yeah, wisdom is medicine, but you know, our culture back in the day, we don't take our troubles outside of this house. We deal with it in the house. But now,
and that, how can you get some help? How can you fix a problem?
Right. So I'm okay with anybody saying they go to therapy. I'm not gonna sit back and look at you and laugh. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever you going through, brother, I pray that you go through what you're getting help for. So it's okay. It's definitely okay. Shit, that's why we got insurance. It pays for it.
Right.
So I mean, that is definitely that. But we get ready to get into I be damn because I didn't even notice the time. They flagging me like you gotta run the clip. Like I'm going to run the clip. I gotta
Okay.
see like my Bob. We always forget. This coming out of Maryland today. Uh, this is coming out of Maryland. Come on, thing, load. Every week it do this to me. I know y'all tired of me. Y'all keep telling me load it early, and I wait till the last minute to load it up every week. It should be coming down though.
I see those comments coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody Tammy Hines, she's speaking in her truth right now. All right, that's popping up and ain't load up. There we go. This is in Maryland today. Welcome back for another intriguing episode of I Be Damn. This takes place in Maryland right here. Forgot the city, but this takes place in Maryland. So vibe with us for a minute during I Be Damned. So I've been dating this girl, let's call her Donna, for a couple of months, and I was really digging her. I was feeling her so much that I was thinking about cutting off everyone else I had been dating to be with her exclusively. On this one particular occasion, I wanted to introduce Donna to my friends as sort of the next step to see if they approved of her. So we all met up for a night of bowling. Everything was going great. We were all laughing and joking. I was really excited to see what she was getting, see if she was getting along with all my friends. I was happy. The night was going so well. When I got when I got up for my turn, it was bowling, y'all. When I got up for my turn, I looked back and saw my phone fell out of my pocket. But my homeboy picked it up for me, so I really wasn't concerned. Once I finished my turn, I went over to my homeboy to retrieve my phone, but he said he didn't have it. I thought he was joking because that's how my boy is. So I began to pat his pockets, but he really didn't have my phone. Why? Because this fool gave it to Donna, breaking the man code. And where was Donna? In the bathroom with my damn phone for at least 15 minutes. SMH. Donna came out the bathroom with a serious attitude, handed me my phone, and left. Unfortunately for me, Donna drove. So during the ride back on the highway, she was yelling at me for talking to other women, and an argument ensued. She started driving like a maniac, and I noticed that she was not driving in the direction of my house. Fuck. I told her to stop the car and let me out, but she kept driving. So I did what any insane person would do. I grabbed the steering wheel and tried to pull the car to the side of the road. Of course, that didn't work. My attitude went from anger to complete Wolverine rage. I went for the big joker. You know, like the spades cut card, Hail Mary pass, and snatched Donna's purse and hung it out the window for ransom. She finally stopped the damn car. Fucking bitch. And I hopped out. To this crazy broad from following me, she started following me while I was on foot. I chucked the hell out of her purse. I threw that damn thing like I was going for the Heisman and all her shit fell out. While she ran after her purse, I made my getaway by climbing over the median on the highway and walking in the opposite direction. I called my boy and told him to pick me up. I didn't know exactly what exit I was near on the highway, but I kept telling him, keep driving until you see me walking. As I'm walking, Donna ass pulls up next to me. Clearly, I didn't throw her purse farther enough and begged me to get in the car so that she could take me home. I told her to leave me the hell alone, and I was going to kick a dent in her door, and she pulled off. Hallelujah. My boy finally showed up, and as soon as I got in his car, I jabbed the shit out of him in his jaw. Why? Because it was his fault that I was in this mess. He never should have broken the man code by giving this chick, who was not even my girlfriend, my phone in the first place. Anyway, I told him to take me to his place so I could crash there because I figured Donna would be waiting outside of my crib, and I just didn't want to deal with any more of her shit for the rest of the night. Too good to be true. The next day finally was here. My boy was taking me home. But then it dawned on me that I left my motherfucking keys in Donna's car. Shit. So me and my boy were outside strategizing how we were going to get inside the house. The plan was to climb through my back window, but when we got to the back of my house, we saw the door was open. Fuck. At this point, I don't know if we should go in or we should call the police. Don't know how long the door has been open, but if someone was waiting inside, but I decided to man up and go inside. When I walked inside the house, all of my shit was completely flipped over. It looked like my place has been robbed. Why me, Lord? Why me? I checked to see if my stuff was missing, but I noticed that everything was pretty much still there except my brand new laptop. Then immediately knew who did it, and in my mind, I was going to kill her. So I called Donna's ass, and she ignored every last one of my calls. Then I text her with all kind of, shit that ain't in the dictionary, and letting her know that she better give me back my laptop. Would you believe this heifer responded to my text as, "Who is this?" And I lost it. At that point, I was really going to kill that bitch. But my boy talked me out of it, and instead I called the police to file a report. The police came to my house, took the report, and gave him all of her information. The officer called Donna while he was at my house, and of course she didn't answer, but he left her a message. 1 minute later, she called the police officer back, and he let her know that I was going to press charges. Then this bitch told the officer she wanted to press assault and battery charges on me, claiming that I hit her. What the fuck? The officer told me that if we both press charges, we both go to jail, and recommend I try to talk with Donna to handle things civilly. I was able to get a hold of Donna and convince her to bring my laptop back under police supervision. Fortunately, I had enough sense to lock my computer. Too bad I wasn't smart enough to lock my damn phone. So I went from wanting to wife this chick, preparing to cut off all women and settle down with her, and introducing her to my friends, to think this chick going through my phone, spazzing out on me, having me to hold her purse hostage, risking my life by climbing over the median and walking down the highway in the middle of the night, getting into a fight with my boy, having my house ransacked, my computer stolen, calling the police, and going to jail, all within a 12-hour frame. I be damned. See you next week.
Woo, my goodness.
So you break that down for me, fellas, right there.
Ooh,
Where did it go wrong? This was all in the
wow.
12-hour frame.
Wow.
Is that a true story?
He thought about wifing her too, right?
That's how he started off. He started off when he sent it to me. He said I was about to wife her. I wanted to see how she interacted with my friends. I said, okay, all right. And shit just went haywire.
Wow.
Wow. Well, thank God that it happened before he did wife her.
Right.
You know? Right. You better thank God. But like he said, man, wow. So I'm wondering, are they committed in a relationship? That's how I'm looking at it. Like, if she got mad, and are they friends, and she got mad because she took them to be more than that, or what? Or he never explained their situation with her or what they're doing.
That's what I got from it too. It was a miscommunication.
Right.
The boy gave her the phone. She went and checked the phone, and it just went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Right.
Wow.
I see the same thing. Some type of miscommunication, because if he is talking to other women, then obviously, if he was talking about dropping every other woman, then that means he was moving towards that way. And I'm assuming they haven't committed, but in her mind, they've committed. Which can happen. I mean, I know plenty of people have been in relationships like that where one person see it differently than the other person.
Yep. Well, what type of expectations did he set?
Right.
What type of understanding does she have?
And what he
Because
was feeding her, what
yeah,
he was feeding her.
exactly.
He could have been told her, I don't want nobody else but you. You the one, you this. Okay, so when she saw that, you saying I'm the one, and here go 5, 5
Right.
others,
5 other ones.
5 other ones. So, and you saying similar things. So, you just don't know, man,
Yeah. That's the few that kind of caused that explosion to me. It
Right,
had to be miscommunication and unrealized expectations.
right,
Yeah, I mean that's why they ask you now. Is there anyone that think they're in a relationship with you?
right,
That's a
right,
good question.
I
right.
mean, I just looked at it just like, I had two things in that story. Like you didn't communicate with her properly, and second, you don't give nobody my damn phone. You give it back to me.
Yeah, that was about I don't know what kind of game that was, for a dude to do something like that, that's like purposely trying to get something started.
Right,
So again, that'll be like I said when we talked about being accountable. That's one of those people that I say, hey, bro, you don't need to be dude. I don't know about you vibing with dude anymore. Cause dude kind of funny. He got some funny ways and funny moves. You know.
yeah, yeah.
You
You hold that
I
phone
could
and
have been
make them
I could have
down.
been in jail or hit by a car or anything from all stem behind you giving somebody my phone.
Right,
Hmm.
And
when
you's
all
my
you have to
man. You
do,
supposed to be my man's, so
Mhm. Just let me take my turn and hold it till I'm done.
right. That's all.
That's
That's all.
all. You don't give it to her.
If she wasn't there, you would have held it.
Right.
Right. So what her being there and the first time you meeting her, you give it to her. Like where that come from?
Yeah,
Hmm.
you gave it to her, and all hell broke loose.
Right. So yeah, man, that man, I've seen them situations before. I've seen them situations where when the woman get on a rage, man, get on a rampage, and she's upset, man, really nothing you can say. You already lit that match.
Right.
You can call her crazy all you want, but you stirred it up. That's how I look at it. Like it was stirred up. Somewhere it was stirred up. So yeah,
Hmm.
man, that's a crazy situation now.
Yeah, but you get a lot of people like that who stir things up like that, and then they want to play victim.
Right. That's exactly what I was saying. Like we don't know. I don't know from the letter. I'm always big on hearing another side as well.
Hmm.
Right.
Because I know from being a man of what I've told women before.
Right.
And though I haven't said you my woman, they really believe that they are my woman because of what I've said and how we conduct ourselves and always spending time. I've had you have women say that how can he be with someone else when he's always with me? But
Hmm.
it's because a dog will know how to move. I said
Right.
like that dog know how to get around. He know how to move.
I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. There's
There's a way. There's a way. A dog know how to move, man.
A
So
dog know how to move. I like that,
yeah, a
right?
dog know how to move. You know how to get around. And look, man, my dog, I'm telling you, but my dog had got I got a Roddy, right? And she got loose. Well, I let her loose to go chase after a little cat, but she went a little too far and went in somebody's backyard. And they didn't have no hole in the gate. I don't know how she got up under there and came back like 20 minutes later. And I say that to say is a dog know how to get around things. A dog know how to maneuver, man. So, you never know what the guy that told her, man. So just thank God they're not in that situation. He's not in that situation with her no more, and he can move on and learn from it, and she can learn from it as well. That's how I look
Hmm.
at it.
Yeah, but
Yep.
like Ulysses said, it's all about setting boundaries from the beginning.
Right,
If you walk to a person and say, "Listen, I just want to have fun," and that's all we doing, the
right,
boundaries
Right.
are set. So don't you go back and say, "Oh, I can make him want something else." Now, if I come to you and say, "Listen, I want a relationship with you. I feel like this is where we want to go," that's what I'm going to do. But there's no need of me lying to you to whatever just to make you see that way.
right. And then
So
and it's like a guy telling a woman that I'm gonna make you wifey. When you say things like that, that's another level you taking it to.
Hmm.
right.
And and she might very well want that, and taking it serious to the heart. And you
Hmm.
might just be, it's a possibility for you, but right now you still got friends. Both of you got two different mind frames, and someone can get hurt in that situation. That's how I see
Yeah,
it.
and
Absolutely.
and that's why we got shows such as Fatal Attraction and Snapped.
Right,
Oh
right,
yeah.
Yeah, now I watch Fatal Attraction since I've been home. Since I've been home teleworking for the last year and a half, that's my favorite show, 1 through 4, every day on TV1. No, when I look at it, I'll be like, what really makes these people go to this length? Like, I was always told if she gonna leave, she gonna leave. You can find another girl, blah blah blah. Do this. There's no need of going to the extreme.
right.
You know, like today, the dudes slashed his chick throat because she was like, "Yo, I don't want to be with you no more." Slashed her throat and killed her mother. Slashed her throat and stabbed her mother 60 times.
Right.
Wow.
This was in Chicago.
Wow.
I say this shit is crazy. I mean,
People emotions, man, and people feelings that sometimes they're unable to control those things.
right. And that's why I tell young brothers all the time, don't make moves on emotion.
Right.
Do not make moves on emotion.
Absolutely not. Yep, that's right. And sometimes it can just get out of hand real quick. And if you don't know how to put a cap on that, you're gonna find yourself a place that you didn't think you were gonna be, as far as your actions.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you're gonna find yourself at a party where there ain't no women there. There's none but men there.
Right.
But a whole bunch of men there. There's no women there.
Right. Frustrated. Right.
Yeah, all because you got upset about something, man. It's like I said earlier, it's nothing that you can upset me enough where we can't sit down and talk. You can hash it out, say what you gotta say. I gotta say what I gotta say.
Right.
And that's what I try to tell these kids is just like there's no need of going, violent. No, it's violence ain't always the answer.
Yep. And what I think about that too is about control. If somebody don't want to be with me no more, you know, then let them do what they want to do. You can't control or make somebody do something. And you have a whole lot of life to live. And why ruin your life, or why take somebody's life because you can't control what they want to do? Just let it go.
Mhm.
Right. But definitely thank y'all, brothers, for coming because the EP telling me it's almost time. It's time to go. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all welcome back if y'all would like to come back. You're always welcome.
Oh man, this was great, man. We definitely appreciate it, man. I feel like the invite. Thank you for the invite. We'd definitely love to come back. I know, we got a couple of other brothers too as well, man. We can, and also vice versa, man. We'd love to have you on the show as well.
Oh, I don't have a
Absolutely.
problem coming nowhere.
Yeah, be great, man. It'd be great. I really enjoyed ourselves, man. I like the content. I like the vibe. It's just I enjoyed the show. We enjoyed the show. I know the brother did as well. So it was a good look, man. Real good look. And like I said, look out for us tomorrow night, man, at 9:30 on a
Yeah,
journey to the throne.
where can they reach y'all at?
All right. You can reach us on Facebook Live. We got a Facebook page, A Journey to the Throne, and when you spell that, you spelling it with the number two, just like you see it on the brother Ulysses uh, on his name on the name tag right there. Is A Journey to the Throne. So when you type in, man, just follow us, like us. We start tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. When we go in, man, we can attack that topic about demasculizing the men, and and predominantly we talking about our black men. So we're gonna put it out there like that. We're talking about demasculizing the men, and we're gonna just attack it from behind closed doors of this blueprint and this plan that they put together to destroy our kings out there in our community and our leaders. And I think we're going. This is a much needed topic, and I'm excited and would love to hear from you all and love to even the comments, man. We also do a recap right after the live show tomorrow. We do a following recap where we address all the comments and the questions that the viewers had put down in the quotation throughout the show. We address those issues, man. We address those topics. If someone have a disagreement or just don't have an understanding of what we were saying, we try to enlighten them on our recap. So we definitely look forward to you all joining us tomorrow night at 9:30 on Facebook. You got something to say?
Yeah, and then we have plenty other shows where we talked about ranges from relationships to money management, just a
Right.
whole bunch of different topics. Because we feel that on that journey to the throne, there are a lot of things that we may not have been taught as young men, that we can make sure that other young men or young ladies or women who have sons can just let them watch the show and just hopefully pick up and glean some good
Right.
information.
Right. Right.
Well, I'll definitely be tuned in tomorrow listening to you, brothers. So thank y'all for coming on Amsterdam Talk, with the Historically Black College University Network.
Okay.
Uh, Definitely need to have these conversations, and we definitely like to reach out to, I always say at the end of every show, I never know who's watching, and somebody might have hoping somebody took something from this tonight,
Right. Right.
because I never know if anybody's going through. Maybe it just was like, hey, they talk about something I need to talk about. So it was life changing for them.
Right. Right.
But of course, y'all know me. Next week, 9 o'clock. We on the West Coast next week, California. I forgot the caregiving company, but we're gonna have some caregivers on next week teaching us how to care for elderly, sick, and disabled. The
Right.
finding out things of how to get the resources, for in-home care, long-term care, things of that nature, and just the tools you need to be able to handle someone that may be disabled or handicapped or of age. So next week, caregivers at 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I forget time I come on. 9 o'clock East Coast, 6 o'clock West Coast for
Right.
the young lady Noreen. I forgot the name of the company though, but I know the company's based out of San Francisco.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, if y'all know anybody that's taking care of elderly or people in that situation, come on through next week, and she gonna give out tips how to get resources, because there's a lot of funding out there for money,
Yeah.
to
Oh
help
wow,
take care of person, so it's not based on a burden on the family all the time.
Right.
There's a lot of government resources.
Right. Right.
that's some good information.
Sounds good there.
Yeah.
Good.
So she put it up. Okay, avacaregiver.org. Okay,
Okay.
I be forgetting, man, sometimes. But yeah, thank y'all for coming in. Other than that, I'll see y'all next week with another episode of I Be Damn. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's coming. Uh,
Right. Right.
well, I see y'all brothers tomorrow. I'll check y'all tomorrow.
All right.
All right,
Thanks.
Rod.
All
All
right.
Thank you,
right.
sir.